Happy Independence Day, everybody, or 4th of July, as it's called. It is currently not that day. It is July 3rd, but maybe when you're listening to this, it's likely going to be July 4th. So happy America birthday, everybody.
It's Fireworks Eve.
It is. It is. So get your dogs put away, get your earbuds put in and prepared, and be ready.
There was a house down the street from us that actually went on fire because somebody was blowing fireworks off. And roof was just on fire, and it's that time of the year.
Terry, back it up, Terry.
I was just going to say that. I was just I have 4 words for you guys. Back it up, Terry.
Back it up, Terry.
Terry.
Oh, classic. It's the time to pull that clip out.
Yeah. Guys, we have some breaking news as we just got so we're going to do a player ratings video, obviously, but just before we hit record, guys, we got some big news. With the roster window or the transfer window about to open in a couple of days. Tyler, Tommy, Andrew Gutman reportedly traded to the Colorado Rapids. I feel, Tyler, you have some feelings about this, so you can probably go ahead and lead us off. And Tommy, I'm sure you have feelings too. And I do too, but Tyler, you're wearing the Gutman jersey, so.
Yeah. I'm never, ever purchasing another Atlanta United jersey with a name on it ever again. Ever.
So who's this? Moreno's gone. Gutman's gone, reportedly. And this is Date to Shea from MLS Season Pass, and reported first, and then Tom Brogert reported first, so pretty much a done deal. Moreno, Gutman. Who else?
I have a good idea for you, Tyler.
Joseph. Yes.
Why don't your favorite player become Andrew Barry? Or Miguel Barry? Miguel Barry. I'm sorry.
Whoa, we're going with a high and right. That's messed up. First of all.
No, yeah.
That's sad.
Guys.
Why not do that too?
Guys.
Wow.
Right now.
Throwing darts at the wall.
Right
guys.
Nah.
Giacomakis is hurt. We need something. We need something. So.
Yeah. So
I'll buy you a Barry jersey.
This is why I didn't buy a Thiago Almada jersey earlier this season.
Yeah.
Because I knew he was gone anyway. So I was like, Gutman, he's the future at that left back spot. Mm-hmm. And then this dude from Apple decides to ruin my freaking afternoon. And but why Colorado? Why Colorado? That's my biggest question. Like, Colorado is the worst team in MLS right now. Period. Like, why? What are they offering? You know, it's got to be something great. I don't know if Gutman wants it personally. I don't know. I mean, I don't know him like that, but it doesn't really catch the vibe of a guy that wants to go to Colorado. You know, I don't know. It's just it's just odd. I mean, it's not odd timing. I get it, but also it's just really strange.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what the return is from Colorado. I would assume Gam is involved, and of course, we'll find out what it was exactly that Atlanta United got in return when this is officially announced. Again, this is Date to Shea from MLS Season Pass and Soccer Insider up in Montreal reporting it first, and then Tom Brogert from The Athletic, as we said. But interesting to see what the return is when the official word is announced. It'll have to be Wednesday when the transfer window opens officially. That we'll find out, I'm sure, what Atlanta will be getting in return for Andrew Gutman. But it's an interesting deal. His form, guys, I mean, we can agree it wasn't really there this season from a defensive standpoint. Dealt with a little injury issue. Not as severe as it was last year when he missed several weeks. But at the same time, just an interesting deal. And making like $3.5 or $350,000 or thereabouts this season, a little bit more guaranteed compensation. So more cap space being cleared out. And from a personnel standpoint, I mean, this has to mean Caleb Wiley's getting plugged in there, and it has to mean that there is a winger coming in. I kind of felt that maybe you'd be okay with Etienne and Wiley on the wings, but looks like we'll be seeing Wiley out there at the left back spot with obviously the attacking freedom that he needs down the left channel. But yeah, interesting move. I know some people won't like it, but at the same time, I mean, it's a business, and Andrew was fantastic with the club. You carry yourself very well. Was super online, obviously, as we all know, kind of joked about. But yeah, looks like it's a done deal. It's recording now, and all that's left is an official announcement from Atlanta United in Colorado.
Thank you, Andrew Gutman.
Yeah.
Jeez. My names are all. I'm so scared to say a name now after I screwed that up. Yeah. I think that's the general manager of the Cleveland Browns, and I just read an article about it the other day, so I'm all over the place. It was interesting him out of the lineup. I think Mike Conti said that he had a conversation with Pineda. I think that was what they were talking about on the broadcast yesterday, and like he understood why he was out of the starting lineup. And then this happens, so now you don't really know what to believe from there. But I mean, it makes you think: are they going to stay in this type of formation? I know we'll talk a little bit about more of the formation later on Wednesday, but this starts bringing even more questions about what does this lineup look like going forward? Because I thought Wiley was better up front. Sometimes I think him being placed back at the fullback position, it almost hurts him a little bit. I think he's just so much better as that winger there. But we'll see. I mean, there's a lot more questions that are now forming in this transfer window, because I thought we maybe had some things figured out and what positions were going to get filled. Now this opens up quite a few more options.
Yeah, and taking my personal feelings out of it and trying to be unbiased, I think it does make sense, all things considered, right? Like you're looking at Caleb Wiley. You've got Ronald Hernandez, who's a winger or a wing back that can play on either side. You've got obviously Brooks Lennon on the right. You have Edwin Mosquera, who's fighting for a spot back into the U22s. I mean, and then you've got a DP spot that's going to be open. Like there's lots of reasons why they would be making this work. And like you said, both of y'all said, Sydney, you mentioned it earlier. I mean, his 1v1 defending has not been the best lately. He's actually on pace to have a better season in terms of like his goals and assists already at this point, but it's a moot point. Like for all intents and purposes, he's gone this window. So, I wonder if it does maybe indicate a full-fledged change for Pineda to be a little more defensive oriented with that back five. And we've been talking about it for a while, right? He needs to have a plan B. He needs to have a plan A and a plan B. If you have a plan A or B of a back five that shores you up defensively and still allows your guys to get forward, but you also have the tried and true, if we want to call it that, 4-2-3-1, whatever, that has been used to score tons of goals, but you're leaky with it, at least you have options, right? And so it does make sense considering his contract's up at the end of the year. They do have an option, but like, maybe you go ahead and make it happen now, and you're getting something out of it. So I personally hate it, but it does make some sense.
Yeah. Always will remember Andrew as our first guest on Scarves and Spikes, so kind of a personal sentiment to us three. So yeah, like I said, carried himself well. I mean, you hate to see, a player leave, but at the same time, all the best to Andrew in Colorado, and again, looking forward to seeing what the return is and what this means from a tactical standpoint and personnel standpoint for Atlanta.
If it's cold in Colorado and he doesn't have any hair, that's all. That's my analysis. I'm a little worried about him.
Well, he's a Chicago guy, so he'll be fine.
That is true. That is true. So
I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he'll be the next polar bear, right? You had Brad as the polar bear. He'll be the polar bear up in Colorado. All right, so that, like Sydney said, that dropped just before, like literally seconds before we got on to record this. So this is still a player ratings video. We want to get you guys our player ratings going forward. I will drop this quick little bit. We do have for Wednesday, so it is currently Monday recording this. Tomorrow's 4th of July. Wednesday, we're back to our normal time slot, 7 o'clock, doing our normal show. I'm sure we'll be talking about Gutman as well, and hopefully some other stuff, because that is also the day the transfer window opens. So maybe we'll have a little bit more on maybe Tristan Muyumba, who we talked about last week, and prayerfully plenty more, because Lagerwey said on 92.9 The Game, they're trying to bring in 2 to 3 guys. We'll see what happens. As far as preparing you for the next match, we have Greg Sutton from Apple TV coming on. He's former Canadian international goalkeeper, played with Canada for 5 years back in the late 2000s, early 2010s. Played for Chicago, Montreal, played for 5 MLS teams. So been around the block, been broadcasting for almost a decade now. So he'll be on with us to discuss the Montreal match and how that one's going to play out. So
I didn't even know this was happening. This is breaking news to me.
This was also literally right before. So I didn't even get a text you. So
yeah. Well, hooray.
Yeah.
Yes. And a personal note, by the way, thank you so much for 400 followers. We just hit the mark today, right before we started recording this. So, Tyler, I don't think you and Tommy knew this.
I did not know this.
More breaking news.
Communications are coming in the very last minute today.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, we're kind of flying by the seat of their pants today. So,
I have breaking news.
Yes.
Oh, enlighten us.
Go ahead.
I'm an idiot. I said Atlanta United was going to lose 3-1.
I said they were going to lose as well. So
I tried to do what Sydney does all the time and and it worked. It worked this time because I was so negative that it turned into this the biggest positive probably of the season, the biggest result of the year. So what Sydney's been trying to do all year, it worked. I gave my worst prediction ever, and they just did the complete opposite.
Yeah, and then look, I'm just mad that Philly didn't score a goal. I was so close to
Shut up.
Tying up the it's just so frustrating.
Whatever.
2-1 is what I said. I'm just throwing it out there. I was optimistic.
You were.
I was.
Let's rate some players, guys.
Let's do it. All right. Got your whiteboards ready? Super scientific method. All right. The first one. And thank you to everybody on Patreon, by the way, for throwing some names out there for this. That is what we want. We want to hear from you guys. So the first one going to be Machop Chol, who had a variety, I think, of opinions on the social media about his play.
Yeah.
So.
Unless they're rate limited, you couldn't see him.
Oh, that is true.
Stupid Elon Musk. Jeez. I'm gonna rate him.
Oh yeah, we should rate him one day.
Yeah.
All right, what you got?
See it.
Oh wow, I went really high.
Oh.
Okay. All right, Sydney with the 6, first. Me with the 8, Tommy 6.5. Sydney, you're the lowest. So what you got?
He did okay. I mean, he wasn't terrible. He wasn't like off the charts great, but he did okay. And I feel like, considering how little time, relatively speaking, he has had at the MLS level, it was a good performance. Not great, like I said. So, I mean, he's still raw. He still has some growing to do from a tactical standpoint. I mean, he's plenty tall, but from a tactical standpoint, he has some growing and learning to do. And I think he'll get there eventually. He did, they almost score a goal or almost had an assist at one point that kind of would have maybe raised that rating just a little bit more. But again, from my vantage point, and Pinay just said this on Sunday, he didn't really see any players who had a bad game. I think Chol is along with that. But I know some people said, what does he see in Chol? And he does provide that height. He does provide some sort of pace. I mean, it's kind of awkward watching him run, obviously, with his legs. But again, not terrible from Machop. Not, again, off the charts great, but still a good, solid performance for him. And that's why I rated him a 6. Tyler? You had 6.5, right? No, Tommy had 6.5.
Tommy had the 6.5. What you got, Tommy?
I agree with everything Sydney said. I would say that I thought he looked a lot better when Giakoumakis was in. Just someone else to take away, some of the attention to where Chol is. But yeah, I thought if you were going to rate anybody the lowest, it would probably be Chol. And, a 6.5 isn't terrible. He's above average. He was there. I still would have preferred Tyler to start instead of Chol, but either way, it was an okay performance.
Well, it's funny you say that because Pineda mentioned why he chose Chop over Tyler Wolf, and his reasoning. He said, "Look, they've both fought for time. They both deserve to start." And he said, "Literally, the only reason I chose Chop over Tyler Wolf was for set pieces because Chop has that height, which makes sense. I mean, you're dangerous on set pieces, 100%, and really going against Philly, you want every advantage you have." And one of your advantages is your set piece attacks. You've scored more than just about anybody in the league on set pieces. So I get it. Also, this is his best year in an Atlanta United jersey. Is he perfect? No. But I think his willingness to just move and make runs and, like you said, Tommy, draw attention and, just the little things that maybe don't draw the headlines. I was really impressed with that last night. I think he was just off the ball, a little ball of energy. And what that did was it opened up space. It drew Philly's center backs away. It drew Jose Martinez away. And ultimately, you look at how much Jose Martinez was having to mark Chop up until he was subbed off. Jose Martinez was absolutely gassed when he got. So I remember I mentioned it to Sydney and Jackson and Henry up in the press box, but there was a moment where Jose Martinez stood there for easily. I mean, it was on a throw in, and of course, at that point, Atlanta's trying to waste time, but easily stood there for about 45 seconds to a minute and did not move. Not like I'm walking around slowly. He did not move from his spot on the pitch, and that's what you want. And again, it doesn't catch the headlines. It's not going to do the big things. It's not going to make the highlight reels, but he did the work that was necessary. And I think that's why I gave him such a high rating, because he's not directly responsible. He's not going to get the plaudits and the FODMOB ratings and all that, but he did the hard, dirty work that we've kind of missed a lot of this year. And he did get on the ball and have some, maybe not some decent chances, but he was kind of a catalyst for being a go-between between like Almada and the front at times. And I was impressed with it. So, we can argue, I don't know, maybe 8's a little too high, but I was happy with it. And I was happy with what I saw.
Would you buy his jersey?
No, I will not buy his jersey. Soon. I will not buy his jersey. I will not reveal whose jersey I will be buying next. But apparently
it's Pineda. It's Pineda.
No, don't say that.
That's messed up.
Well, no. I'm sorry. No, just because you guys have got this special awkward relationship.
We do.
I wasn't making the Barry joke, guys, this time. This was no. Okay, now I can understand. It took me a minute while you were freaking out. Now it made sense. No. All positives for Pineda.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Who we will talk about soon.
Yep.
FODMOB for Machop Chol. FODMOB hates Machop Chol, apparently. They gave him a 6.2. I disagree wholeheartely. But it's in between y'all two, so
yeah.
It's in line with what you got.
You disagree with us then?
I do.
I'm kidding.
It's us versus you.
Yes. Yeah. 2 versus 1.
Whatever. I was closest on the rating. All right, so moving on from Machop. And obviously, it'll be clear here in a minute in case you can't see the sidebar. You're listening to this after the fact, but we're trying to rate some people that we don't typically rate going into this one. So the next one going to be the Peruvian center back himself, Luis Abram.
Luis Abram. I mean, definitely haven't rated him because he hasn't played that much.
Yeah.
But
and when he has, it's been in really weird games.
Right.
Was it the Open Cup? It was that Chicago, replace half the lineup situation. He hasn't really been in. Still want to see him with Miles.
Me too. All right, here we go. 8.2 for me, 8 for Sydney, 7.2 for Tommy.
I thought he was good. I think 7.2 is high. I don't really have much to say. Didn't really notice him a lot of the time, which I think is a good thing for a defender. Thought he made a couple nice forward passes, and that's all I got. Just
short and sweet. I like it.
Short and sweet.
Sydney, what you got?
Yeah. No. Abram had been catching a lot of criticism and really hadn't performed all that well in spots where he was called upon. I mean, the Open Cup threw it out the window because no one was good really in that match. But yeah, really strong defensively. When his number was called, he was ready this time. And I think this was the Luis LeBron that Atlanta United fans have been wanting to see when Atlanta United brought him over on the deal, on his TAM deal. And he's making a lot of money. And again, he's one of those players that is held to a higher standard because he's making so much money. So, yeah, very well done for Luis and really the entire defense. We'll talk about Hernandez as well coming up. But, yeah, Luis really stood out for the right reasons.
Yeah. He was, to me, I think the three center back style definitely helped him out a little bit. I don't know yet in terms of his just tried and true 1v1. I don't know how he's going to hold himself compared to like Miles and Parada and even the wingbacks. But I thought he had a solid game, and he was actually a little faster than I thought he was going to be. There were some times in last night's match where he tracked back, and I had no belief that he was going to win the ball, and he did a couple of times. And we keep being told, he's a mental player. He's very IQ, not maybe the Miles Robinson-esque like super athletic guy, but he knows the game. And I think you saw some of that last night. His positioning was on point. He did get beat once or twice, but with that's the whole point of the formation that you played last night, right? Was you come in on the wings and you still have backups to help you out. And that's exactly what happened. So was he perfect? No. My favorite stat of his last night was that he was a 100% on his shots on target because he did have a header, and it was a good one, and it was right into the chest of Joe Bendick, unfortunately. But he was surprisingly good in the air, like way better than I thought he was going to be. So, he had 6 clearances. 3 of those were headed clearances. He had an interception, 3 recoveries. He did get beat twice on dribbles. Not the best on his duels, but just, he did the job. And he was part of the team having one of their best performances of the entire season. So that's what you want when you start trying to say we have a center back that's smart and intelligent and can hold down the game. You start to see it in games like this where they keep things very organized and you keep a clean sheet, and that does nothing but build your confidence as a defender. So yeah, it was good. It was a good game for him. And it was, hopefully this is one that he can really build on, because Miles is not coming back still anytime soon. So
when did the Open Cup, because now that the opening, round robin's done, when did the knockout start?
Very soon. I believe this weekend. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Saturday. So yeah, it'll still be a while. But,
USA's winning this thing.
Hey, they've won the past 2 times, I think. Past 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Guess who's not winning it? Mexico.
And Fortune's coming back, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Trinidad
is not the knockout stage. Yeah, so he is coming back.
Qatar beat Mexico last night, by the way, for anybody that didn't know that.
Qatar.
Shout out to our patron Ariel, because I woke up this morning and saw a bunch of angry Facebook posts from him, so that warmed my heart.
Mexico, man, they've got to get it together, and I hope they do, because I do like the rivalry. I don't want it to be a one-sided rivalry, and right now that's what it is. So anyway, but we'll take it a little bit longer. More trophies for us, hopefully.
Yep.
All right, so FOTMob gave Luis Abram an even 7.
Okay.
So pretty solid. I like it. All right, moving on from the Peruvian, we're going to the Venezuelan Ronald Hernandez, who I think we've maybe rated once.
Maybe once.
This year.
I don't know even know if we did.
Kind of the forgotten man in the Atlanta United roster in some respects.
Guy could just come in and not play for months and just look good.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what he does. Every time he leaves here, he goes and plays for Venezuela, and then you find out he scored a goal.
Yeah.
Right.
Like guy hasn't played in 8 months, just scores a goal.
Yeah.
And every time he like talks to the media, he's just like on fire. He's like so ready to go too. That's what I love about him. All right, what you got?
7.7.
8.5 for me.
Sydney.
Oh wow!
Tied.
Somebody play the lottery.
Tied.
Tommy,
You go
That's
first.
my wedding date, 7/7.
Oh,
Hey.
nice. Okay.
Oh, so
Happy
almost
early anniversary.
Yeah. You want to go first, Sydney?
No, go
Fight
for
to
it.
the death.
I just again, Ron Hernandez does what he does when he usually comes in. He's pretty well defensively. He doesn't make any huge mistakes. And I can remember there was 1 or 2 really nice passes that he made moving forward to Brooks, and I thought that was nice to see here. Like, he's just that guy. I mean, he could play both sides. He could come in if there's an injury, and I think that Gutman moving on is another thing of a Ronald Hernandez like type thing. It's like Ronald Hernandez could come in at any moment, play both sides, and be effective for what he's doing. And he's probably frustrated because I think he knows that he could do it, and he really hasn't had those opportunities. So I think just on top of just moving Gutman, like, you feel a little bit more comfortable because Hernandez has rarely let you down.
Yeah, he hasn't played all that much, but Tommy, like you said, he's looked good when he's come in. Since he's been with Atlanta United, he's never played more than 13 matches in the season, and yeah, he will stand, I think, to get more playing time with Gutman on the outs, and yeah, I don't know if Atlanta United wins that game without him. Just his movement and his poise, and you can see why Atlanta United brought him in. He's not the most flashy player, which is okay, but still another good shift for Ronald, and I feel like he's a player that's going to be gaining more and more importance with Atlanta United over the next few months as they look to push toward the playoffs and look to make their way up the table. But yeah, he was a big part of the win, a huge part of the win against Philly, a team that they have that unique lineup, unique shape, that diamond, and Atlanta United were able to conquer that and get the win.
It feels like it's been a long time coming for Ronnie because, you go back to when he got here and he's just been like sprinkled in at times. You need him and then you don't. And then he goes and plays with the twos and then you need him again. And then he plays an Open Cup match and then you don't see him again for a while. And it's just, he's so in and out. But, Pineda talked last night about how it was the decision between him and Noah Cobb. I think that was maybe some people's questions coming into this matchup with the lineup that got posted yesterday. And he essentially said, Noah athletically definitely could handle it, but you're playing against a team that is very good in Philly. You want the experience, and Ronnie has the experience. It's kind of a good problem to have, I think, because you look at his positional play. He's a wing back that can play on either side, but you put him as a center back last night, which granted is not far-fetched for a winger or a wing back to play, but he was a definition center back last night. He did not really go forward at all. He just was there as your lifeline to recover on, corners and make sure the rebounds were recycled, things like that. But his defensive stats were really, really good. And, a 5'7" center back is not like the maybe the prime height that you want, but for all the issues that we're talking about with Miles being gone, Noah Cobb is young. He's good, but he's young. Like, it's nice to have a guy that can just slot in there when you need him to. And that's a good problem to have. So he went in last night. His passing was super solid. It was 35 out of 40 passes, 88%, 54 touches. He had 7 passes into the final third. So, that's pretty average, but 2 two out of three long balls were accurate. Didn't get dispossessed. Had a block, a clearance, interception, 5 recoveries, and he won 75% of his ground duels. So just, I mean, defensively, that's what you want. He had a solid shift, like you said, Sydney. And I feel comfortable. Like, if you have to go back to this, of course you want Miles right there, obviously. And now when Miles gets back, you'll probably see Ronnie on the left side. Maybe you have Wiley pushed up a little bit more again in whatever role, maybe where Machop was. I don't know. But you have options now if you use this same formation, and that's a good problem to have. So just thought Ronnie was good. He brought some energy, brought some fire, and he was vocal back there too, which was good to see.
Got an update on the Gutman situation.
Ooh, breaking news.
After you guys wrap up.
So much news
today.
today.
Anything further to add?
Yay, Ronnie.
Yeah,
Ronnie.
Yeah. Good for Ronnie. 7.4 on Fought Mob to wrap him up.
Cool. Gutman is fetching an international spot in GAM for Atlanta United, and the international spot will be used for Muyumba, according to Tom Bogert. So,
any idea on
the that's two breaking news is technically.
Yeah.
No amount mentioned, but yeah, GAM I figured, and then the international spot presumably for Muyumba, who is finalizing a deal with Atlanta United. According to Tom Bogert. By the way, we did a video on Muyumba a few days back, and we'll put it in the comments for you all to check out.
Yep.
Muyumba.
Oh man,
I traded for him in FIFA if anybody cared, and he's doing pretty well.
Okay,
good.
I might do the same thing. I just tried to trade for Miggy and got rejected.
They don't even try to say his name in this game. Like I've been trying to get him to say his name, and they don't.
Yeah.
Fun. But that's interesting though, because I did assume like you're not going to make this trade without getting an international slot.
Yeah.
It does make sense, right? I mean,
yeah.
Common sense would say Gutman's good enough to get you a decent amount of GAM, an international slot. You're going to use it for the guy that you're bringing over from France, presumably, who seems to be a little firecracker in midfield, which is what this midfield needs. So moves are happening. Maybe. Yeah.
Oui.
Oh. All right. That's enough of that. I'm done. I can't do French.
I didn't turn into Borat on that one. Sacre bleu.
All right.
Brooks Lennon
it be. Who had lots to say last night, by the way.
Is Tyler gonna have the highest stat of every one? I think we've been the lowest, Sydney. I think you've been the lowest every time. We've tied on one. Tyler's just giving everybody. Tyler's just high on this win.
Yeah, I am, man. It's good. It's a good win.
Yeah. All
right.
What we got?
I forgot what I gave him.
Forgot what you gave him?
9 for me. Oh!
Sam, let's score again.
9.3 for Tommy. 8.5.
It started off as when you were talking about Ronald. I started as a 9, and then it went to a 1, and then I was like, screw it. Let's add another 0.2 to it.
The score going up as we speak.
Yeah,
but
stocks, baby, stocks, just going up.
The brick going up.
Yeah, no. Lennon was terrific last night, and one thing about Lennon is he's been so reliable for Atlanta United. He's played. Atlanta United have played 20 matches. He's played every minute of every match for Atlanta United this season, which is fantastic. Except one, he was out for one match, so. 20 matches
Chicago.
He has played Chicago, yeah. But he has played in every minute of every other match. So he gets a lot of criticism for his crossing and his overall ability. Sometimes it is warranted. There's a time when he had a pocket of space to pass it to Yakimakis, I believe, in the box, and he didn't take the space. He didn't attempt to pass. So that's a little bit frustrating. His crossing still leaves some things to be desired, but, and Tyler, I'm going to kind of steal your thunder because I know you're probably going to mention it. Guy's got a chip on his shoulder. Yeah. Like, he has made it clear, or he made it clear last night that he wanted to be in the national team discussion, and he said, there are things I know I need to work on. So I keep working hard at it and keep pushing myself to get to that point. And um, Pineda was very honest about what kind of things that Lennon had to work on from a defensive standpoint and a shot stopping standpoint. He called it his Achilles heel. Those two areas, his Achilles heel. But he did say that Lennon was working with Eugenio Villazón and Diego De La Torre on the coaching staff to get better at those areas. And that's so good to hear. And it's so good to know that granted, all players, do it, but it's still good to hear that Pineda is specifically calling out Lennon as a player who is putting in the work in the film room, working with the assistants to improve on his weaknesses, because unless you work on them, you can't get better at them, right? You have to realize that is something that is a deficiency in your game, and that's something that Brooks has realized, and that's something that Gonzalez has recognized and has told him, look, this is what you need to work on if you want to be in the national team picture. And rather than shrink away and say whatever, Brooks has taken those words to heart, and he has worked his tail off to become a better player. And Pineda has noticed it. Eugenio and Diego have noticed it as well. The players have noticed it, I'm sure. And the hope is that Greg Berhalter and the U.S. technical staff will notice it as well. Still some rough edges to take care of, obviously, as I've kind of mentioned. But I think when you look at him at the end of this year, he's going to be a much better player. And going to 2024, there's going to be so many expectations on him to become really a key leader for this club, something that this club really needs, especially with a lot of the young players still around here. Mm-hmm. And again, just slotting into this new position, I think Pineda was talking about at RSL, he was a left back, or left wing back, I should say, wing back, and just, or not left, or right, winger. A winger. Yeah. I said on the left. I should have said it on the right. But yeah, he's been improving his game. Long story short, and that's something that has really caught the eye of Pineda, which is fantastic. So yeah, that's kind of what has impressed me from a big picture standpoint, and then the goal, of course, a reward for his work last night. So
yeah, I think a lot of people forget that Brooks is only 25, right? The sky is still the ceiling for him. You've got a World Cup coming up. Is he going to make the World Cup roster in the next 3.5 years? I don't know. Can he? Absolutely, because the guy is one of the hardest workers in the room. And Pineda, like you said, Cindy, essentially said as much. The guy, he said that he sits down and does film review, not just of himself, but of other backs in the league, just to learn what they're doing, what he needs to do in general, just to be a better defender and a better player overall. And that's what you want. Like, you can't ask for more. And you've seen his improvement in terms of like every gripe that I think maybe the fan base has, for a couple of years, it was he just crosses into nowhere. Well, his crosses are actually pretty solid recently. They're pretty accurate. Now, whether or not somebody's able to get on the end of them, that's a different story, but they're getting put in positions where they can be, I said it last night in the press box again. This is one of those just like little, in the middle of the match kind of mumbles that I said. And it was early on when he had that first opportunity to just take a shot from a tight angle. And I said, just take the shot. Just, you're playing against a backup goalkeeper, essentially. Andre Blake's not there. Test him and let Yako, who's going to be in the right spot, or Caleb Wiley, who's going to be making the run, let them be there to pick up the rebound. But drill the goalkeeper and let him parry it away and let one of your guys pick up the rebound. The next time he made that same deep vertical run, he did that and it almost turned into a goal. And then what happens later? He ends up in that same exact position, takes a shot, 5 holes a goalkeeper and gets on the board to make it 2-0. And you start adding that to his repertoire, like that's a big deal. And we already know the guy's going to run forever. He's like Forrest Gump. He never stops running. Like he never stops running. So, he's going to do the work. He's getting better defensively. He's putting in the crosses on the attack. He's putting in the balls. He's becoming less predictable. If we go back to last year on the Spaces show, that was maybe one of my biggest things where he was too predictable. He's not just taking crosses with his right foot. He's cutting back. He's playing, a little game. He's having a little bit of fun. He's a little more fearless. He's improving. He wants to be with the national team. And just to put you in the position that we were in last night in the locker room, like he was not satisfied with where he's at right now. Like he wants to be better. And he said it himself. He's disappointed he didn't get called to the Gold Cup. And if you remember, like Lennon's gotten a call up before, last year, maybe the year before. So he's had a taste of it. And now he wants the whole thing. And I think that does nothing but bode well for Atlanta United, because if you can get him kind of maybe at that same goal scoring threat and rate that Gutman was providing you on the left, then that's going to be amazing, because he's already going to be putting in really good service for Giakoumakis. Get him some goals under his belt like he had last night, and that's going to be a really, really dynamic right-hand side as well.
Brooks Lennon over Arujo. Did you really think we'd improve this much? Because that's what I've been thinking. Like, since Brooks has moved up there, I think the teams look better. I think there's been better cohesion across the board. I like Brooks up there. I know they might make some moves, and eventually he moves back. I mean, it really depends on what the formation they want to do going forward. But I'm comfortable with him there, and I think we've looked better with Brooks up there compared to Arujo. I don't even know if it's like, it'd be a hot take if you said this last year. You know what I mean? But like, I don't think it's really a hot take. I think it's just, if you're watching it, you realize that he's just been doing a better job. And it's not even just doing a better job. It's just working with the other players as well. Like, he just seems like he's got good ideas of what he wants to do.
Yeah. Especially along with Tyler Wolff as well, right? Who, like, their chemistry is already, it seems like, light years ahead of what it was with Arujo. So, there's something about getting the right players together in the right spots. It's a big deal. And on paper, people tend to forget this as well, but on paper, Brooks Lennon is actually one of the best in the league at that position. So, it's a good problem to have. And against Philly, who you needed your wingers and your wingbacks to really, really control this game, they did it. You got everything you needed out of it. So, for reference, he had 3 shots, which is, again, outstanding for him. That's not normal. Of course, the goal, 85% accurate passes, which is big considering the amount of time he spent in the final third. 3 chances created, which adds on to his like league leading tally, or close to league leading tally. He was 2 for 2 on his shot accuracy. He did have a blocked shot, 45 touches, 56% on his crosses. He had 9 of them. He had an accurate long ball. Of course, he took 4 corners. And then defensively, a clearance, 2 recoveries, a couple of aerial duels. So, I mean, getting better on the defensive side, but just overall, just trending in the right direction.
And let's just say, because we have put some water on the Brooks leads the league in, chances created, because we've talked a lot of trash about that stat. So I think we got to at least remember that we've talked about this before, because a lot of those, when we see those stats and you watch the game, especially early on in the season, a lot of those, especially last year, let's clarify, last year, they weren't, if you watch the game, you'd be like, really? Like, he was creating chances? Like, it didn't really seem like a lot of those passes even had a chance to go in, right?
Yep.
Or get to a player. So this year, it definitely seems like it's passing the eye test. I think for the people that watch Brooks Lennon, because you could go and look at those stats and say, "Oh, Brooks Lennon's leading the league in this," but when you watched it, you weren't really sure. Like, what are they talking about? Why is this counting as a chance created? Now they, especially over the past few games, minus the Red Bulls, they're actually looking like there's chances created.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
And I'm glad you pointed that out, because that is definitely a stat that, like, for the past couple of seasons, we were like, But is it that important though? Like,
Yeah.
but there's nobody there to get on the end of these crosses and things like that. He's getting more accurate with them, and now he's got somebody up there who's going to put them away, which is important as well. So, just go in the right direction for Lennon. Super happy for him, and I hope he does get called up because I would like to see him get another opportunity to prove himself. So, for him in FOTMOB, he has received an 8.1. So I feel like it was a little low, but whatever. It's okay. All right.
It's all good.
So moving on to the next one, who we definitely have not rated specifically this year, the man himself, El Profe, Gonzalo Pineda.
Did we rate his fashion at one point or no?
I think we did. I think we did. So sorry, Gonzo, for telling you to change your style and throwing the season off. My apologies. But you got it back on track.
He looks so professional at home.
Yeah. All right.
And you got Jim Curtin with that stupid hoodie.
Freaking hoodies, man. Baby blue one at that. Baby blue in the middle of a sea of red and black. What are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Go. Where's your driver's license at? Anyway, go ahead. What do we got? Oh, look at that.
Wow, you guys match.
9.5 for both of us and a 10.2 for Tommy. I just want to know, you don't have to give your whole thing, but why the 10.2? I just want to hear that.
I gave the 0.2 for fashion.
Okay. I like it.
Fair.
All right. I'll go first. Because I think I've not this whole time. Sorry, guys. Credit where it is due. 100%. I talked. I went on a monologue last week about having a plan B and changing things up when you need to, being pragmatic. And if there's any team that is going to force you to be pragmatic, it is this one, Philly. They play unlike pretty much any team in MLS. There's not many teams that play a 4-4-2 diamond. There are ways to counter a 4-4-2 diamond, and it seems like a lot of the media in America seems to think, oh, it's such a unique formation. It's just so hard to figure out. It's really not. It's not. It's about playing out on the wings. It's about spreading their diamond, their midfield out wide. And then what you saw last night was maybe they didn't press as high as initially Atlanta thought they were going to, but Atlanta dealt with it. They played into the midfield, and then that's where you saw Philly trying to press to one side. They tried to push to that wing and create numerical advantages on that wing. Well, then all Atlanta had to do was switch the play over the top to the other wing, and that wing was wide open every single time. And they ate them alive in moving the ball forward. And that's why you didn't really have to worry too much about having a ton of guys up top. You had Chop helping out, drawing some defenders away, and then you had Yako/Barry, and then the winger on the other side. So they had the plan nailed down to a T. Brooks Lennon talked about how they did more film review in this week leading up to this match than they've ever done before. And they really understood. And then Caleb Wiley also mentioned specifically about some last minute changes that Philly made right before the start of the match. And he said, yeah, we saw that. We already actually believed it was going to happen anyway. So it was easy for us to adjust to. Like, that is so good to hear, that your film review, that your preparation for the match, and then your change in tactics worked so well. And, you look at the back five, you get your 3 center backs, your 2 wing backs, and then moving it forward. A lot of people think you're going to lose a lot in the attack. As a team that plays the way Atlanta plays, where they're trying to build up out of the back, you're not losing anything. You just have to be a little more patient. That's it. But you have guys up top who can make you pay. Once they get the ball to the front, you've got finishers. You've got Almada. You've got Yakimakis. You've got Caleb Wiley, who had an opportunity, a really good opportunity. Brooks Lennon, obviously. You've got guys up there who can put the ball away. That's different than we've had in the past couple of seasons. So it's just about being a little more patient on the build-up, not trying to be frantic and move the ball in places you don't need to move it and giving away silly turnovers. Everything they did yesterday to prepare for this match paid off big time. And you got to give credit to Pineda, because it wasn't a wholesale change. It wasn't, hey, we're going to change the full identity to the team. All we did was set it so we have a little bit more defensively. We're still going to play out. We're going to make smart passes. We're going to be patient, and we're going to trust that our guys up front are going to put the ball away when we need them to. And they did. And you played Jim Curtin like a fiddle last night, honestly. And it's so good to see, because this is the one, honestly, in Pineda's entire tenure at Atlanta United, I think this might be the best win he has had. And I say that, I know they've had some bangers. They had the 4-0s and 5-1s this season, Portland, Colorado. I get that. Those are crappy teams. You just played the one that almost won the MLS Cup last year, was in Champions League, has consistently been good for a few years, and you kept a clean sheet. They never looked really goal dangerous much at all. You kept them to one shot on goal, and the changes you made dominated their team. That is a solid win, not only from the players, but from the coaching staff. Got to give credit. We talk about it all the time. Like, is Pineda going to make changes? Is he going to do this and that? And we get frustrated at times, right? Well, they did it, and it was like chef's kiss. It was. I love that win last night for so many reasons.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you took the words out of my mouth, especially with the technical changes.
I've been waiting.
He got what?
I've been waiting on this one. Like this was
no,
such a
but
good win.
He got it He got the Texas really wrong against Red Bulls, and it's frustrating. Yeah. I mean, you saw the result, right? 4-0, and it's the opposite against Philly. Got him absolutely right. And what's the one of the criticisms about Pineda? He doesn't adapt. He doesn't change tactics. He's stubborn. He got 100% right against Philly, and he knew exactly what the game plan was, and he delivered the game plan, and the players executed it. So, I mean, he doesn't score goals. He's not out there on the field with the players, obviously, but he does put forth the game plan for these players to execute, and he really outcoached Jim Curtin. Let's just call it what it is. He just outcoached Jim Curtin.
And do you feel like those are bold words to say?
No. Because it's true.
Because I feel like some people are like, "Oh, it's one time," but no, like he did him. He got him. He did the job.
And yes, I mean, Andre Blake was gone. Okay, I'll give him that. But Andre Blake can't defend the ball. Andre Blake can't score goals. Andre Blake can't get the ball into offensive areas, attacking areas. So that's kind of a crutch. But
Andre Blake's not saving that Almada shot either.
No, he's
nobody
not.
is. Maybe the second one, but not the first one.
Yeah. But no, credit to Pineda. Fantastic game plan against a very tough Philly team, and hopefully something that the team can build on throughout the rest of the season.
Remember last year and against Philly at home? Was it 0-0? Was it a 0-0 draw? That was one of the best performances that we really had last season as well. Like, that was a game that Atlanta probably should have won 2 or 3 to nothing in that game. They dominated. Philly didn't know what to do. So really, this is back-to-back good performances from Atlanta United against Philly at home. And yeah, I'm happy, like you guys said, that they made changes. When he talked about the changes on Thursday, I think, Thursday or Friday, I didn't believe that he was actually going to really make some changes. And I was pretty negative after the Red Bulls game. And when we talked about it on the ratings last week, who's to blame here? I didn't put a lot of it on Pineda, but, people saying, well, these guys didn't play well for Pineda. So you're blaming some of the play on the players on Pineda. So if we're going to do that, then you got to give him all the praise in the world here. And it's really just a combination. You had players, like you said, Caleb Wiley talking about how this team underperformed and they weren't ready. Okay, well, this team was ready. So who are we going to thank here? Are we thinking the players? Are we thinking that it's Pineda that did it? And I think it's just a combination of everything. Everybody seemed to have it right. Pineda gave credit and said every player had a good game. I agree. It was just a great overall performance. And, Tata Martino was another stubborn coach, right? Like, he was stubborn in a lot of ways. And, he learned, right? He changed it and ended up winning MLS Cup when he went to the playoffs. I'm not saying that this is one of those type of things, But there always seems to be a moment, mostly with Atlanta United coaches. Like even Frank DeBoer. Remember when he just turned the switch, like right after the All-Star game, and this team went on a run where they were scoring goals. It was fun. Like everything kind of got back to normal. I'm hoping that this is another one of those things where you flipped a switch and you might have figured some things out that you didn't know about this team, and see it going forward. It's gonna be hard without Giakoumakis because he's a big part of your plan of how to be successful here. But defensively, you didn't see there weren't that many individual mistakes here, and if there were individual mistakes, you had some people backing up to stop those from going in the net. So, just bravo performance by him.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see the video they post because I would love to see his pregame talk. Like if they have that, like I would love to see what that pregame talk was. I know a lot of them are just usually the generic same things, fight for family and whole Fast and Furious family thing, but like. But yeah, but like I want to see what he said before and after the game. That's because it was a big performance.
Yeah,
it was
huge. And again, it may be my hot take. Best win under Pineda.
It's not a hot take at all. It's not a hot take. I don't think so.
Overall, it's great. I mean, I'm just happy. So super proud of the whole team. Really is what it comes down to. Like you said, Tommy. Like. It was Pineda. He pulled the right strings. He set the right guys. He played the right guys, but they executed. And that was, again, you had players that maybe they felt a little bit of less anxiety, so they were able to control the ball better. They were able to pass the ball better. And just overall, they looked crisp, clean, and professional last night. And it gave you a big 3 points, really big 3 points.
So he was asked in the post-match press conference, how he will carry this over, how the team can carry this over to Montreal, and he said, we're just going to enjoy this one. I'm going to grab a beer and just enjoy this one." So that kind of leads into our final ratings topic of the show. And I'll set this one out as a non-beer drinker. I'll let the two of you kind of have at it. But he said his favorite beer, and that is going to be Modelo because he's from Mexico. But his favorite beer is an IPA, so that kind of surprised me. I know you guys surprised the two of you, so I guess are we rating IPAs or what are we doing? What are you two doing?
Oh, well, I'll just start. I know I'm going to be the lowest. IPAs suck.
Yeah, all right, fine.
They're terrible. Like they make you feel full.
8.
And they make you like. Glass. I mean, you got an Irish beer there. I see it with your green.
Yeah, I mean, it was the only color I had. I know we're on the wrong side of the world here, but hey, this is what I had. I made it work, okay?
I like ciders. I like light beers. Like, that's fine with me. Just give me a Bud Light. That's fine. IPAs, like, I just feel like I eat a meal after I have them. The hops, no thanks.
Oh, man. See, I'm a beer snob. I really am. And whatever. Like, I love beer. I really do. And IPAs... I will say this. I think that maybe they're a little overdone now. They are like a craft brewery that's their wet dream. But they're so good to me because you can have so many different flavors out of an IPA. And when I heard him say that, because I was thinking he's going to be like a Modelo, like a lighter beer kind of guy. And he's like, no, I'll take an IPA.
Dos Equis.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, you're throwing out all the Mexican beers.
You're not even saying Corona.
I didn't say Corona for this exact reason.
Corona.
But no, I was like, this guy's got some class to him. I like that. I want to go have a beer with Pineda. I want to see what his favorite brand of IPA is. I'm really curious now. Yeah. So next time I get a chance, I'm going to ask him. I like...
Forgot about Tecate.
Oh my God! You're just throwing them all out there.
No, I looked it up and I just realized, we didn't say Tecate. So
yeah, that is true.
Are porters the same as IPAs, or are those like technically different things?
They are different. Porters are much darker and much less hoppy.
Oh, like I see people drinking like peanut butter porters and stuff. Like, well, first off, I have a fear of peanut butter. Like, I don't know if I've ever mentioned on the show, but like I can't touch peanut butter. I can't smell peanut butter. And if like there's cookies at a Christmas party and I look at them and like I think there's nuts in them, I just won't eat them because I I am scared to death. Like even like the peanut butter sitting at the bottom of the sink, I can't even touch it. Like I will leave my children.
Like allergy.
Yes, I have a peanut butter. No, I'm not allergic to it. I just have a peanut butter phobia. And my friends now know it. They send me like the gifs of like people like painting themselves in peanut butter. Oh my gosh! Like
I'm gonna send you a gif of a dog eating peanut butter later.
What's that show on TLC?
That's a weird video you're gonna send me, Tyler. I don't want to see a dog licking peanut butter. Don't send those videos.
You get a double whammy.
Oh no. That's
isn't there a show on TLC like My Biggest Fears or something like that, or I don't know.
Oh yeah,
make it wrong.
I can just imagine Tommy now on that show looking at a bar, like a jar of Jif, and being like, just breaking out into like screams of terror.
Yeah, like people, I've literally been chased with people like having peanut butter on like a butter knife, and I run. It's
amazing.
It's a weird thing.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
So when you come down in September,
No.
for the Miami match, I know what we're doing.
No peanut butter. Like peanut butter whiskey. Get out of here. Like
that's gimmicky, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry, we got way off track here.
Pretty legit though. IPAs though. The only thing better is the Scottish Stout. Super dark beer. It's as black as coffee. You can't see light through it. It's like a black hole. So that's my take on IPAs and cervezas in general. But I'm proud of Pineda. He threw out a good one. I'm happy. Now I just need to know what brand.
Maybe at some point we will find out.
I'll report
back.
back.
Trading.
Could be that could be a Patreon episode. Tyler and Pineda drinking IPAs together.
That'd be good.
Hey.
That'd be good. I would like that.
Yeah.
And then I can make up for the really awkward handshake that we had earlier in the season.
But yeah, great show. Went a little long because of the Gutman news that kind of broke right before, but we'll talk about that on Wednesday. Presuming that news will be official on Wednesday for Atlanta United in Colorado, and Liam, but hopefully that news is coming as a fast follow behind it or before it. But yeah, transfer window opens on Wednesday. We'll be talking about that. Greg Sutton from MLS Season Pass will be on the call on Saturday. Will be joining us as well, and surely have a lot to say about CF Montreal.
Yep, it'll be a busy one. It's
so much news
here.
So
we're getting news.
So
silly season.
News.
Silly season is here. News is here, and now even more so than before, they're clearing out some space. So I fully expect these moves to start coming in pretty quick.
Yeah,
Almada to one of the mans.
Man, yeah, one of the mans. We didn't mention that. We'll definitely talk about it Wednesday. But hey,
sure.
I'll take that Man City money.
No. No.
60 million.
I'll take that Man U money. Thank you.
yeah.
I don't want to hate the man in a week or whenever he goes.
He'll look good in baby blue.
Shut up. All right, let's end this. Quit ruining my day.
Peanut butter.
Oh, God. You never let people know your weaknesses, ever.
Never.
I do it every time.
Yeah. Sounds like a you problem.
Yeah. See ya.
Thanks, everyone.
See you guys.
Make sure your driver's licenses are up to date, by the way.
Yes. Those
Very
restrictions
important.
are all set.